Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers move on to 4-5 after their 20-6 win versus the Tennessee Titans. Let's go ahead and dive right into this game, starting off with Baker Mayfield. He was 18-29, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He should have had 3 touchdowns. We'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, guys, I thought that Baker Mayfield played well. Okay, some people may disagree with that. Some people may have thought he played more on the average side. I think, based off of what we have seen from Baker Mayfield and the offense throughout this year, it was good play from Baker Mayfield. Okay, he also had 3 carries for 12 yards. Overall, Baker Mayfield, I thought, this looked good throughout this game, right? He did have a really ugly interception throwing to Devin Tompkins, I believe. That was what it was. And, it was not a good interception. But Baker, I thought, showed some good ability both as a passer and a little bit of a runner as well. And overall, as I've said before, a lot of times, he made enough good plays to, help the Buccaneers win this game. Yes, he did have 1 turnover, and he also potentially had a 2nd turnover with the fumble, depending on whether or not you want to say he was down or not, whatever that may have been. That was a play that, is debatable, right? But point being is I thought Baker Mayfield played well in this game, all things considered. Was it great? No, it wasn't the most perfect game in the world, but I think it was above average. So all in all, a decent game, good game overall, I will say, from Baker Mayfield. Rachaad White was another interesting guy in this game. 20 carries for 51 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. Not great overall as running. Obviously they're still trying. Is that because maybe a guy like Aaron Stinney's in this offensive line versus Matt Filer? I don't know. It's interesting. But as a receiver, you see here, Rachaad White, 2 catches for 47 yards on 3 targets. He had a long of 43. He had a 43-yard screen go for a touchdown today. So Rachaad White just continues to get more and more involved in this offense, and that's good things, right? That's what you want to see from this offense, is some good versatility from your running back. I believe Baker Mayfield said after the game that they are going to get Rachaad White more involved moving forward, continuing to feed him. Seems like it is slowly but surely starting to work more and more as this offense gets more comfortable. To the wide receiver room, really the only couple of guys worth of note. Trey Palmer did have a drop. I do want to talk about that. That was unfortunate. But Mike Evans, 10 targets, 6 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown. A vintage Mike Evans game today. Chris Godwin, 6 targets, 4 catches, 54 yards. Definitely want to get Chris Godwin a little bit more involved, all things considered, in the offense. But Mike Evans had a very good game today, was the best player on the offense. He did have a dropped touchdown. Hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it. It made me so sad. He wasn't the only guy that dropped some passes today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both on offense and on defense. Obviously, Trey Palmer had a drop. Mike Evans had a drop touchdown. That kind of goes into the idea of like, hey, Baker Mayfield had a good game today. He should have had 3 touchdowns today. I will say that. But all in all, Evans still had a very, very good day today, all things considered. And he's just, well on his way to a 1,000-yard season this year. 10 seasons in a row. Good stuff there. You like to see that from Evans. And this is kind of the blueprint, right? Your top 3 guys should be the guys right above me. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White. If they continue to do that moving forward, I think the offense is going to get more comfortable, and we're going to see some better offensive output like what we saw this week versus the Titans, and yes, even last week in that loss to the Houston Texans. Saw a little bit of Trey Palmer and Cade Otton in there as well. A little bit of some interesting stuff with Devin Tompkins. He had a 5-yard catch. They also gave him a 6-yard end around. Was interesting. Thing to make a note of there. Also, Chase Edmonds was the backup running back today. Keyshawn Vaughn was inactive. So, interesting couple of shifting things there, though. Still didn't see any Sean Tucker, which was interesting. As we talked about, the Baker Mayfield fumble happened. It was what it was. That's kind of debatable as to whether or not you feel that that was a fumble or not, if he was down. Defensively now, kind of shifting gears. This was a good defensive game. This is a Buccaneers defense that obviously lost last week versus the Texans. They lost that game, point blank, simple as that. And this was a defense that wanted to rebound in a big way and did rebound in a big way. I mean, you can kind of talk about so many different guys here. Antoine Winfield Jr., a pass deflection and a quarterback hit. Levante David, 2 tackles for loss. Pass deflection. Zon McCollum had a couple of nice plays. Devin White, a sack, a tackle for loss, a pass deflection, 2 quarterback hits. Kalijah Cansey, 2 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for loss. Shaq Barrett, a sack, a tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits. Yaya Diaby, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits. Vita Vea, a sack, a tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits. This defense really came alive. They blitzed a lot. They really pressured Will Levis so much throughout this game. You take a look at the stats here. 4 sacks on the day. 10 tackles for loss. You had 6 passes deflected and 13 quarterback hits. Again, this is a defense that wanted to rebound, and they did in a huge way. Also, Antoine Winfield Jr. did have 1 interception on the day. This was where you saw some missed opportunities, right? Will Levis today should have had 5 interceptions. Point blank, simple as that. Should have had 5 interceptions. I mean, you look, he was 19 of 39, 199 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 4 times. He should have been sacked more. He should have. I mean, he really should have been sacked more in this game, and he wasn't. Sorry, should have been intercepted more in this game, and he wasn't. You take a look, Levante David had 2 dropped interceptions in this game. I believe Jamel Dean had a dropped interception in this game, and I think somebody else had a dropped interception today. I think it was Antoine Winfield Jr. had dropped one earlier as well. So again, like if you clean up those dropped interceptions, this defense would have been electric today. This would have been probably an even bigger blowout than, a small blowout was what it was, but it could have been an even bigger win. Levis did not look great today. He was getting pressured so much, missed a lot of throws. But again, for the Bucs, some missed opportunities there. Now, is that nitpicking? I don't even think so, because if this was a different situation, those interceptions could have certainly mattered, right? Certainly. And you want to make sure that you get those interceptions when they matter most. So make it a habit to get more of those interceptions and actually catch the football. And, you can even see greater things than what you saw today from the defense. Derrick Henry was held in check in a huge way. 11 carries for 24 yards, 2.2 yards per average. Again, this is one of the best running backs in the entire league, and you held him to 2.2 yards per carry. That's a good day from the defense in terms of run defense any single time. DeAndre Hopkins was kept in check today. Shout out to Jamel Dean and the Buccaneers secondary. 8 targets for Hopkins for only 3 catches for 27 yards. Kyle Phillips was the leading receiver for Tennessee. 3 receptions for 61 yards. All in all, again, can't say enough good things about the defensive performance today. The offensive line played iffy, all things considered. Obviously, you give up 3 sacks and 5 quarterback hits. It's not a great performance overall, but it was enough to, give Baker some time to make some big throws later in the game. Again, Evans had a long of 43. Godwin had a long of 17. Trey Palmer had a long of 15. Rachaad White had a 43-yard long. Like, it was enough to get the ball downfield and enough good blocks to really overall have this offense still continue to be productive. So, folks, that's it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won in week number 10. They move on to 4-5. One thing I do want to make a note of as well here before we head out. Currently, as it stands, the New Orleans Saints lost. So the Buccaneers are only a game back now. I believe the Atlanta Falcons, they are winning. So if they win against the Arizona Cardinals, that's obviously not a good situation. So hopefully by the time this video marinates a little bit on YouTube, maybe the Buccaneers are still only a game back. We'll see. But this certainly helps out their chances in the NFC South race, and we're just going to have to wait and see if they can continue that momentum in their favor. After a Bucs win and a Saints loss, they get a little bit of help there, and they're trying to fight their way back to win the division. So, folks, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this game down in the comment section below. I would love to hear it. What did you guys think about Baker Mayfield? How do you think he played? Did he play good? Did he play bad? What do you think about the entirety of the defense? Were you upset about those missed opportunities? Are you not going to let it bother you too much because it resulted in a win? Again, some people may say that some of my comments are overly pessimistic and nitpicking and whatnot, but it's just trying to see this team reach its full potential, and they got, somewhat there today, but there is still some ways to go in terms of some things that need to be cleaned up. And overall, this team can be even better than what we saw in this game today if they would have just held on to the football in some opportunities, both on offense and on defense as well. But again, folks, solid win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Tennessee Titans team. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about all of this down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. As always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.